Okay, good morning. Good morning. This is the show bringing you the straight talk on how we're going to reverse 400 years of slave mentality. Also, it's reality radio because my co-host and myself, we're working out and demonstrating live on air how we as Moors or black men are going to convince our women to develop some confidence in us again.
Yes, and you can start by not calling us your women.
Well, I'm going to
not
claim
all of us claim
ours.
Moorish ancestry, which actually derives from Arabian people. So that's a whole lot to unpack right there. So, self-identify for yourself. I absolutely encourage that, but not all of us came from a slave ancestry. Not all of us are black from the mid-Atlantic slave trade. Some of us are sub-Austronesian. Some of us have actually just very, very African roots and know where we come from. So speak for yourself.
So this is Andre Hill and my co-host Marlene, and we have a guest in the studio with us this morning. His name is Todd Coles. Todd Coles. He goes way back. Our family connected back in the 50s and the 60s, and I know his grandfather. And he's going to give us some insight. I'm somewhat concerned about how we as a community, as a culture, we're not yet, still we need to organize. We need to select or come up with some sort of program to identify who's going to represent us and how we can focus our resources to make sure that we get properly elected in position so that we can continue to represent our tax base. So we're going to get to Todd in just a moment. I'm going to do some things. Connie Burton, she usually comes in on every Saturday, or she will be coming in on every Saturday. But when she's not here, she gives me the information about the restorations of rights. This is a very important agenda because we're bringing 100,000 to 1 million people back into the voting arena. And that's power within this United States corporate America structure that helps us, puts us in position to access monies that we've been contributing to this country for 400 years and still facing the same trials and tribulations. So, one of the things, Connie reached out to me. She wants me to remind you, if you're having your rights restored based on the new legislation that was passed, there is a March 12th, that's coming up soon, where they're going to be traveling to Tallahassee to tell the story. So if you have a story to tell about your trials and with formerly being incarcerated and getting your rights back, give Connie a call at 727-623-5637. Give her a call. You can get on the bus for free. You don't have to worry about paying. So you want to, we have a lot of people that's been jacked up by this system. So you want to call her as soon as possible and make sure you get on that bus so you can go and testify to our state representatives on some of the things that you've gone through. She's also working on a re-entry bill for self-employment for those that have come out and they want to become gainfully employed or become a contractor. She's working on verbiage where, a lot of the contracting agencies, even if you have a license or if it's impossible for you to get a license, the wording should be changed, for your second chance to become a licensed technician and be able to bid contracts through the state, the city, the counties, or whatever the case might be. So all of that sort of legislation is being prepared. Also, a threshold bill is being prepared. Right now, if you commit a crime of $300 or more, it's a felony. And, that's very petty from my perspective. We don't want anybody committing crimes, but, so many of our kids, hell, when I was a kid, and I couldn't get what I wanted. I wanted to dress up and look good and look cool for the girls. I was tempted to go out and do whatever I had to do if I wanted to compete. So what they're working on is a bill to move it from $300 to $1,500, and that's a very important threshold bill that the Restoration of Rights Committee is working on. So you want to get involved, whether you have formerly a returning citizen or not. If you have brothers and sisters, we all have been touched by this U.S. corporate America system of domination and manipulation. So if you've been affected, if you have relatives that have been affected, you want to get involved in this, because this is our chance to stabilize our community, our people. So give Connie Burton a call at 727-623-5637, and she will inform you about what's going on. And the next meeting for the Restoration of Rights is coming up February the 2nd at the Seminole Heights Library. That meeting usually happens around 11. I'm quite sure it's 11.
Well, I'm sure you're going to post the information on the Straight Talk Productions page.
Yes, we
and
are.
And also,
good observation.
Yes,
yeah.
Of course, you're going to post it there so people can get that information. That way we can just segue into talking to Mr. Cole here, who I'm excited to hear from.
Okay, so that's that's the cleanup work for this morning, and some of the things that also, Marlene, I'm happy to say, based on your recommendations, I'm on Facebook now. So a lot of people can connect with me on Facebook. Andre Hill Sr., my son he's been on Facebook for quite some time.
So now you guys can go, friend Andre, and go directly there and ask him about those parasites.
Yeah, we're gonna bring it. We're gonna bring it.
And he can explain all of that to you, and you can address your questions to him personally and stop hitting my inbox.
Not only the parasites, but Marlene, we're gonna have to elevate our level of consciousness to reclaim our planet.
Well, I'm glad you finally elevated your level of digital communication to get to Facebook.
Well, progress
it's a start.
Is possible, man.
Even for your generation.
All right. So we're gonna turn the camera and the speaker over to Todd Cole. Todd is a businessman. He's I brag about being a fourth generation entrepreneur. Todd is a fourth or fifth generation entrepreneur, and his family has a lot of history here in Tampa in terms of how to make a dollar, and that experience we need, especially right now, in encouraging our people, to go into business. But one of the things that we're dealing with now is the political end of it, and we want to ask Todd some questions. I posted on my Facebook page. We got several brothers that are running for office, and
a sister.
And a sister. Oh, okay, I'm good. So that's why it's good to have your information together. So, Todd, tell me, man, what do we need to do, and what are the perils of all of our resources being divided up? Because those other cultures, they come together and they decide on who's going to run to represent their community, and then they all get behind that one. Right. So what do you suggest we do about that?
I think it's something we certainly need to work on moving forward. It's not going to affect us in this race because everyone in this race is a person of color. And all the candidates, I believe, are quality candidates. There's 5 of us in this District 5 race. But for future reference, I think it's going to be important for us to kind of vet everyone who's running and come together and try to narrow that down. Because if we do have someone of another culture to come into the race, and we have a number of blacks who are African Americans who are running in the race, that could divide our voting block, thereby allowing another culture to come in and take that seat. So this year is not a problem, and that was something I looked at before I even jumped into the race, because I didn't want that to happen. And had someone else jumped in the race of another culture, I would have been willing to pull together all of our candidates and say, hey, look, I'm willing to drop out. Let's look at fielding the strongest candidate to go against this other person of the other culture. Well, hey, this white or Hispanic candidate. So we might as well be straight talk. We might as well have straight talk.
Marlene will tell you straightforward.
So if that was a issue this year, I would have convened that type of meeting to discuss that, so we wouldn't fall prey to that this year. But this year, there's no problem. But we need to plan for that moving forward. So we've got to probably working with the Democratic Black Caucus. Democratic Black Caucus here in Hillsborough County, to try to devise some type of way to narrow that field down so we don't fall prey to that in the future.
Absolutely. So, I didn't want to, I want you to come in, and you're running for office.
Yes.
And how do you, what can city council do? Because first of all, we're subjected to gerrymandering.
Gerrymandering.
Yeah, sometimes
don't worry about it.
I'm 66. My lips they stick sometimes,
and it's cold outside.
So with all I keep looking at the city of Tampa. I was born here, so I look at Carver City, Lincoln Garden, the old historic West Tampa. I look at what Central Park used to be. I look at Bellman Heights, Jackson Heights, Progress Village.
Right.
That's a whole line of black folks that helped build this city. But how come we're all relegated to one seat?
Well, the first thing we got to do is vote. Okay. In order to vote, you can make your one vote may not make the difference, but your one vote, my one vote, your one vote, all that makes a difference. And over the years, I've seen the Republican Party, who has a consistent message from the top to the bottom, and this is what they do. That's their play. When you watch talk radio on Sundays, whatever channel you turn to, they've got 2 or 3 points, and they all hitting on it. Whatever the interviewer is asking, they're answering it the way they want to get their point across. And it's only 2 or 3, maybe 1 or 2 that they're hitting on. But it's consistent. It's consistent. And we in the Democratic Party need to do a better job on consistently messaging. But voting, over the years, they've slowly taken the majority here in Florida, the House, the Senate, and the governorship. It's been 20 plus years since we've had a Democratic governor. But they've gained that over the years, slowly. And we've been lax on our voting in our community to even allow them, not just blacks, but just Democrats in general. Okay, and we've got to do a better job of that. And we have a lot of low-hanging fruit in the community. There's a lot of people who are registered that don't vote. But some way we need to connect them to the importance of voting. A lot of times, voting is not just voting for yourself. If you receive unemployment benefits or have received them, if you or a family member or a friend down the street have received food stamps, if you benefited from Obamacare because you had a pre-existing condition or someone you know or love, then that's the reason to vote. I don't need any of those things. But it's important for me to help my fellow man. And if you're a good Christian, as many of us claim to be, it's your responsibility to reach out and help those who have less.
I just like to add that on the local level, voting, not just for the person, but the different things that we vote for, like different taxes, they impact our local school district and all of those kinds of things. How much you pay in taxes in your area, different counties have different taxes. Those are all voted in, but we got to go to a break at this time, and when we come back, Mr. Cole will finish up that part of the discussion.
Okay, thank you.
To Havana, we've got the best prices. Call Kinsey Travel 863-274-3715. That's Kinsey Travel 863-274-3715. Baby, let's cruise.
Hey, this is Miss K with Kay's Kitchen, cooking Chicago-style fried chicken and fish with the authentic Chicago-style mild sauce. Come check us out at 5508 North 50th Street in Tampa. We're open Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 6, or you can call us at 813-368-5196. Again, that number is 813-368-5196. See you soon.
Walters Academy for Entrepreneurship, a place that we like to call The Way, where we're educating today's youthpreneurs to be tomorrow's billionaires through social entrepreneurship. Do you have a student who's bored, frustrated, gifted, inquisitive, creative, business-minded? Then maybe you need to check The Way out. Listen, we have an educational platform that allows for individualized instruction. It's strength-based, project-based, and designed to help your student become the absolute best they can while starting their own business and being an entrepreneur. If you're looking for something different and you need to find a more excellent way, then you need to visit us at The Way. That's The Way, www.thewaetampa.org. Or you can call us at 813-603-7923. We look forward to showing your student a more excellent way at The Way.
This is the show with Andre and Marlene, and today we're here with Mr. Cole, and we were just talking about the importance of voting. A lot of times we put the onus on, I don't want to vote for this person or that person, but the day that you go to the polls in these races, there are also all kinds of other amendments, changes to local ordinances on a local level. If you don't care about voting for the president because you feel like that doesn't matter, on a local level, it so very much affects you. And the people that are in office on a local level eventually migrate to the federal level, state level.
Right. I think it's most of the time on the federal level, or voting for the president, voting at the national level, that rarely affects a person's everyday life.
Right.
What affects a person in this community or any local community most are those local races: city council, county commission, and your state representatives. That's what affects your daily life, and that should be the most important thing that you go to the poll for.
Like your city councilman is going to be the person that makes the board answer why your street hasn't had its lights replaced.
Exactly.
Or your gutters are all full, or you have potholes that need to be repaired, or why isn't this park being maintained, or why are you taking out, or why don't we have one? Right.
And when you have those issues, you don't call the president, you don't call your state rep, or you don't call your federal, your congressman, U.S. congresswoman or man. You call your city council person or your county commissioner.
Also,
those are the people.
Right. The county commissioner, city council person are also the people that are talked to by these big developers that want to come in and gentrify us out of the neighborhoods.
Right.
So they're being seduced, and they are here to be the middleman between him, the developer, and the constituents in that area,
right,
to say this is a good idea. We're going to get more street lights. We're going to get more parks, without realizing that they're moving you out in order to do that, because historically they do not invest in Black communities that way.
Yeah, they don't keep their money in our community.
Exactly.
And what I watched as, because my family are entrepreneurs, Cole's Barber and Beauty Shops, and been in the community since probably the 20s with businesses, 1920s, with Coal City grocery store as well on Martin Luther King, used to be Buffalo, and 34th Street. Yep.
Remember.
So those of you who are old enough remember Buffalo Avenue. But I watch my family keep their money in the community, and that's vitally important. So when we had a plumbing problem, an electrical problem, or what have you, we spent our money with Black plumbers, Black electricians. The only time our money went out of the community was when there was no option inside our community, and we had to get it done. And that's vitally important. And so we have a lot of other cultures that come in our community, and they don't keep the money in. They make the money in our community, because we do spend money as a Black community, but that money doesn't stay in our community. It goes out of our community, and that hurts us economically. And back to the gentrification, you have situations where, like the most recent one that I'm looking at now is with the RFP for building affordable houses within East Tampa.
Right.
I mean, those houses are 1,250 square feet approximately, and run $180,000. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you got to earn at least an income of $60,000 to even afford that. How many people can afford that in our communities? Not many.
Probably less than 8%.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So then we can't afford to stay in our communities. We get forced out. We get forced out of our community to go on Section 8 or out of our community to go find more affordable housing in less attractive areas. And that not only takes us out of our community and breaks up our community and our cohesiveness in our community, but also that takes a vote out of our community. And in a situation where we don't vote in numbers already, that just hits that even more.
Right.
And that's a more of a negative situation there.
And I've seen gerrymandering, excuse me, this is going to be punny, along the lines of they'll take a black community and split it down a street and behind a house so that they're taking the majority of it and putting it in an area that has a higher white population,
right,
so that black vote is basically nullified.
It breaks it up.
And so you might end up having 10 people, in your area of black people becomes so tiny,
right,
that you have no representation.
Exactly.
But also going back to the affordable housing that they're building, these affordable apartment communities that are subsidized, that they have moved people out of from other communities, they're moving them into there. They're also not all for us. They
right.
are mixed use, so they have a percentage of them that are only designated for the low-income residents, right, or income assisted, and then the rest of them are being sold at retail market value.
Yes.
So you have
rented at retail market value.
Yes, and in California, you had to get on that list, and I remember the apartments. There were like $2,500 for a 2-bedroom on a trolley line,
right,
and that was in 2011.
Right.
And the low-income people were actually pushed off to another building next to ours, but it was mixed in, kind of. I can't
right.
explain it. And they were paying much, much less.
Right.
But you were thinking that this is the mentality of the people that weren't low-income. There's low-income residents here, and they don't maintain that hallway, when actually their dogs were peeing all over the hallways in our halls, and he never mentioned that.
Right.
So
right.
there's this perception that once you start adding low-income into the areas,
right,
the whiteness will start being what is that word? Condescending about
right,
it.
Right.
And that's happening in Carver City.
Right.
With the people jogging up and down, but they have their dogs running around pooping everywhere.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
they're literally going door to door and doing robocalls to ask people to sell their homes. So I'm seeing homes disappear without ever a sign going up saying that it's for sale.
Right. Right. And they're coming in and paying over market value for those homes.
Yes. It's
so
attractive.
That prices our people who would like to stay in our communities. It prices them out of our community. So again, that takes them out, and it affects our community, the culture of our community.
So you're assessing probably a paid-for home at only like $200,000, but that lot, once your house is gone, is going to be selling for about $250,000.
Right.
And in the house that they put on it, that's not concrete block construction, it's all that MDF and plywood.
Right.
The whole property is going to try to go for about $350,000.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's.
That's why you need to keep your home.
Right. And it's something that we need to bring attention to from the city council and county commission level to focus on that, because it's just slowly breaking down our communities.
And they're moving us to Riverview, right?
Right.
Yes.
And what I see when you look at downtown area, they're building up and not out.
Right.
But we're limited in building up within our communities.
Right.
So those restrictions need to be looked at. And so if you have 2 or 3 lot, adjacent to each other, instead of being able to just build a single family home, why can't you build apartments, multi? That way we get a little denser in our communities and keep people in our community.
Well, that's not what they're doing. They're moving us out to Riverview, where it's one house on each lot,
right,
and then the construction's not as nice. We are moved away from transportation lines.
Right.
We are moved further out. We have to pay more to go work out further away from where we are. Well, right here, we have all the city infrastructure to take advantage of all the amenities that Tampa has to offer in these improvements.
Right.
But if we move away, we're not getting that. So that
and you pull away from the culture of the community as well. So you're less and less
they don't
involved.
Really appreciate culture.
And those folks that are moving back into the city, they develop those communities, and so they're charging you top dollar.
Right.
And so when you move out there, you still can't afford it.
Right. Well, what I look at, when you had white flight years ago, where a lot of whites lived in the city, and so they began to move out because they wanted to get away from us. No, but they're coming back because what happened is the building, the housing took place in rapidly, but the infrastructure, roads and transportation to get them back in without a long delay and traffic and that kind of thing wasn't paced the same way.
So now they're
So
talking
now
about
they're
yoga.
trying to come. So now they're coming back in, so they don't
Right.
have that long commute, and they're eating up a lot of our places that typically and historically would have been black homes.
They want work-life balance now.
exactly.
That's what's important.
So they want to cut out that commute and come back in the city where many of them work.
All right. So strategically, we as a people, we need to recognize that again. And I'm telling you this, man. Like I said, I talk about me being 66 years old, and I'm still getting it. I mean, they still are concentrating on us to keep us divided, working against each other. And I just had a Caucasian man come up to me just last week. And he said, well, what are you doing? I said, I'm preserving this property for a African-American woman. And because she wants to pass it along to her children. He said, well, I've been getting at her to do this and do that, to clean up. I said, well, that's why organizations like mine are getting involved, because typically we can't afford to maintain the properties, especially the properties, our property that we're not living in. And so we need outreach organizations to step up and come up with some sort of plan to stabilize that. But she wants to be able to give this property to her children. She don't want to sell it to you.
Or she can put it in a trust,
Yeah.
and the property never has to leave the family as part of that trust, and that's honored by the court of law. And honestly, the properties are only valued at a low price when you're trying to sell it. But if you're keeping it forever and ever, the importance and the value of it always remains. Land is the actual true asset, not the home that's on it.
Yes, that and the fact that, you know what, the earth isn't growing. So
Right.
when you have land, you
Keep
should
it.
keep it. And that's what we lack in the black community, is that legacy of passing on land and that kind of thing. That we have to do a better job of maintaining, keeping the land that we have, because the earth is not growing. So when you have a piece of property, it's best to try to develop and work and keep that property and pass it on, so you have generational wealth and generational land involved in your family.
And there's so many different things you can do, but you always have one family member that feels that they have more equity in the property than all the rest of the children, and I want to sell it so they can go out and buy it, go shopping, and and it's guaranteed you're going to run into a rough point.
That's why
in
you
your
have
life.
a will.
Yeah.
And you designate that, and whether they're all a third, the other three have to agree. And even if they agree, it then has to be passed down to the next eldest child, or it has to remain within a certain bloodline. And that's all. That's how we take care of that.
Right.
Estate planning is vital.
And it costs money, but it's worth it in the long run.
Every dime.
Because then you keep that one family member who say they want to sell from coming in and making that happen. So now everybody has to agree to do it, or it doesn't get done.
So basically, I was born and raised in West Tampa, and I've put a lot of focus on West Tampa, and that's where I had the encounter with that Caucasian man that's saying, just give up on your people. You're fighting an uphill battle. And I'm saying, hey, man, let me tell you something. This is rather than say I'm fighting an uphill battle. This is a David and Goliath situation, but think about this. David won. And so we have the power. We have to understand that there's a greater power, that we have to relax ourselves and get off our selfish trips and work as a collective to bring all our resources together. And so the point is, I started out with West Tampa, but after I saw that deal where the mayor gave this company, this development company, almost 100 properties and some money to develop, now I'm seeing real estate signs all over the city.
Right. And in giving them that opportunity, in the RFP, it's stated that in order to even apply to provide these affordable housing, the affordable housing in District 5, in Tampa generally, that you had to have developed or built 35 homes the previous years. Now, there's historically in our communities, we've had nonprofits, different nonprofits.
There's not any of us set up to do that.
No, not even collectively. If you put all of them together, they haven't built 35 homes in the previous year. But that doesn't mean they wasn't building quality homes and putting people in there at
Right.
affordable prices. So when they put that in the RFP, that was just a sign to say, hey, you know what?
That
we want
was covert.
we want you to get this.
This is
We don't
covert
want to fool with
racism.
them over there.
So
Okay.
you saying the mayor stacked the deck?
I can't say that. Hey, all I can say is, hey,
wait.
I don't know whoever was in charge of doing it. It should not have been done.
All right.
So wherever that falls, it falls.
Okay, so that brings us to this point.
It brings us to the break, actually.
All
And
right.
this
It's
is
getting hot.
Straight Talk with Andre and Marlene, and we're here with Mr. Cole. And when we come back, we will finish talking about this gentrification. But there are things we can do,
Right.
like as Black people and business owners,
Right.
real estate investment trusts, and
Yes.
buy and build one in our own communities, one at a time.
Right.
We'll be back.
You need medical or a lawyer. I got the man to do the legwork for ya. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care, scared of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown. 184-361 Rick. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361 Rick. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361 Rick. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Okay, I love that music. This is the show with Andre and Marlene, and we're back. We're here with Mr. Cole, and we were just talking about how RFPs, and that's the covert racism. And I'll go back a little bit. The civil rights movement really left us in a blind spot because like I said on Facebook, in the time when we're basking in the glow of opportunities, they actually made it illegal to discriminate based on certain things such as race and color. Discrimination like religion, but what happened was they didn't make it illegal to have bias. So a person can feign ignorance, and that's how you get this gerrymandering. You get your redlining where you're steered to a certain neighborhood. You get the Black people tax when you go apply for a mortgage. And we can't prove that when you want to prove that someone's been discriminating, you have to literally do it on a class action level. So they make it hard for us to litigate against that. So we've been catching up. So I won't say that we never come together. It's a long learning curve. The gentrification process is actually a 30-year cycle where they start, like, it's been almost 30 years since the white flight happened from Tampa, and now they're coming back. But it's a process. It's what they do to devalue properties and then bring them back up. We've been maybe not voting or not as active in our communities or trying to get what they get by moving out far away too. Right. Our neighborhoods have been falling apart and we've not cared about it because we're looking over there. Meanwhile, they're watching those values go down and they're going to come back.
Right.
And they're selling at the top of the market for them because we're driving up demand out there, and they're going to come back here and get it
buy
for
at
less.
The bottom of the market.
Yes.
So,
that's why you need to keep it.
Yes, definitely.
So that was the point I was trying to get at earlier. I was focusing on West Tampa, but to our people anywhere in Tampa, in the Tampa Bay area, don't sell your property. As Marlene said, set up a trust. If you don't know how to do that, you can reach out to us at urbanprogressalliance.org. Or you can reach me on my Facebook page now and get in contact with us. We will steer you in the direction of pulling together the articles of the Constitution for your trust. We will assist you with that or direct you to a legal counsel.
I'll find an attorney to come in and talk to us about that on a Saturday.
There we go.
Estate planning and trust.
Right.
So and here's my other problem. The mayor's office had the power to do this, and so, and one of the things that I wanted to talk about in the election process, how you can get certain individuals to buy them their way into office, and then they get in and represent the outside interests, developers that can come and remove you. So under the city constitution, in the city of Tampa, the mayor has so much power, and so how
The strong mayor system.
yeah. So what can we do to stop that, to override that, or rewrite the Constitution?
Well, that's going to be the charter for the city of Tampa. That's going to be difficult to do. What you can do is bring light to issues like this, I believe. And I think you have to get on the front end of the mayoral race. So before people even get into office, I think you got to get together. We as blacks in our community have to get together and say, hey, this is what we expect. Okay? Realistic things, you can't go over the top, but it has to be realistic things that's going to affect our community in a positive way, where we're not going to continue. We don't want to see gentrification continue at the rate it's now. You can't stop progress. You're not. So there's going to be some of that, but you need to stop it at the rate that it's going at this point.
Like we're 30 years behind the curve.
Right, exactly. So you have to put all these expectations in front of all the candidates and say, and all of us should come together as candidates to say, hey, all of, Walter, what's the other young man, Robinson,
Jeffrey.
Yeah, all the ones in my
Smith.
race. Yep, Orlando and Ella. We should all come together and work together to maybe put something in front of all the candidates to say, hey, look, we'd like you to sign this, because I don't think any mayor has won without winning District 5.
Okay.
So we have some power.
Yes, and
So I think we need,
accountable.
but we have to come together, even though we're competitors, and I respect everybody that I'm running against. Even though we're competitors, we all live in District 5, or we all have connection to District 5, and we should come together. And I think we're all willing to come together to say, hey, look, this is what we expect. Whichever one of us win, we expect this, and we're going to push this agenda now. After the race, that is not the time to try to push it, because at that point they don't care about you.
Right.
So even though what they say on the campaign trail, but if you have something in writing, they're willing to sign it and agree to it. Then that has a little more teeth.
Interesting. You should say that, because we do have an agenda. We do have a list of demands. If you have a nonprofit organization, or if you're an activist and you want to make change, and you know people in your community, get in touch with us. You can get in touch with me, Andre Hill Sr., on Facebook. You can come to send me an email at andrehill930@gmail. We're organizing a meeting very soon, coming up February the 13th, where the leaders of the organization can come out. We're going to make get together before this race in March, right? For
March 5th.
March 5th.
And you can put all that information on your Straight Talk page as well, so that you're always asking people to get a pen and paper, but now all you have to do is put it on your site, create an event, and invite people.
So
with your Facebook. No, you know how to do this, and you're going to do it.
No,
it's okay.
but we're getting better, though.
No,
We got the Facebook page.
Right, holding people accountable.
It's called practical learning.
Now you're telling people to go to Facebook, and if it's not there, you're just going to look crazy.
All right. So
it's on the air live. Andre's putting that up
Andre
there.
Jr. They're going to be working this thing. So here's what I'm excited. Old school. Hey, Daryl. Old school. We need all our old school people to bring our resources, because we do have some responsible young people. We have Marlene. We have Todd here. These are smart, intelligent. Their generation. Our generation let them down. Well, in Todd's case, his grandfather held the post.
Look, and here's Daryl with this voice piece and this medium for us to be able to speak from. This is beautiful. This is a wonderful
Absolutely.
legacy. Daryl, In Touch News, everything In Touch Paper, In Touch Computer, In Touch Facebook, all of that.
So
and it's great that you keep reinventing yourself as the technology grows. You
that
grow
is
with the
amazing.
technology, and that is.
yes, sir. And he and I, we're from the same generation. So we all didn't give up on y'all's generation. So
I don't think that really is so much the concern. Maybe you should be more worried about us giving up on yours.
well, that's why this is reality radio, because Marlene and I, we hit it every Saturday.
Well, I think you get hit more than I do.
And I'm never going to give up on it, because if we don't work out these differences, and we're doing it on air as a model for other groups to pay attention. Well, what did Andre and Marlene do? Well, they
Right. This
cussed
is a
each
good
other
time
out.
to apologize, right? Since you said that.
On air?
Yes.
I apologize to you.
You said for whatever. That's not a really good one. But I'll give you an opportunity again next week, because there's things that happen with that R. Kelly show that you really need to speak to.
All right.
It was
right,
ugly.
All right, but this is the beauty of reality radio, and we are working these differences out. It's very important, because all the other cultures, they love our women, and right now they're starting to do any and everything.
Y'all love their women. Don't play.
Well, listen.
Y'all the mixed baby's going to end racism mess.
But we're just a little confused.
Like, start focusing on what black men do and stop talking about what black women are going, because we're not really the issue.
Well,
if you want black women to have black babies, you have to mate with us. Like, that's a no-brainer. It's biology.
You get no argument from me. And not only that, here's a metaphysical thought. When you mix with the other culture, and this is not a racist statement, this is a metaphysical statement.
Other people will be the judge of that.
Okay, so if those other cultures were notorious for murdering, raping, and doing the horrible things that was done to our culture, if you go and bring them into your midst, you're now taking on that generational curse from their ancestors.
I have had white women tell me that they're not having kids because they believe white men are terrible.
I get it. So that's something that we can fix, and we're going to have to fix it in a number of ways. Number one, don't sell your real estate. If you're having problems with it and don't know what to do, contact us. You can reach us now on Facebook. You can reach us on the internet. You can call me up at 813-475-2775 for the old school people that don't want to use all the electronic media.
Or you can call 813-444-9588 and you can talk to Andre right now. And maybe some of you women can call and maybe talk to him about a matrilineal type of society. Matrilineal. Matriarchal, where things be passed down from woman to woman, because we don't have those marrying out issues.
Well, one of the things, I love being a man.
No doubt.
and by being a man, I love the beauty of and I'm gonna claim y'all, my beautiful black women.
Is it reciprocal?
I don't care what you say. It ain't political, whether it's political correct or incorrect. Y'all, you our women.
No, we're not your women. That's a problem.
All right. So
not yours at all.
We're dealing with the mayor situation. We're dealing with voting.
You do realize this is a one-way situation. Like, you come out of a woman.
And I spent most of my life going back in. But go ahead. What?
I just threw up in my mouth.
Anyway, yes, indeed. So affordable housing.
Open your mouth. I'm throwing this Annex right in there.
That's getting real freaky now. All right.
No, I'm going to give you a
G-rated
pill.
show.
You're going to take a pill.
This is G-rated. So, all right. So, Todd, we need to vote. We need to come together and let whoever get behind the mayor that's going to give us meet some of our demands, and we need to do this ASAP. That's why it's very important for all of you outreach groups, so-called leaders that want to make a difference. If you didn't get it, if the Trumpster, when he shut down the government, it didn't just affect us. it affected his white supremacy voting base. All right, so he jacked them up. If he was in a mindset to jack them up like that, what do you think they got planned for us? You know,
We don't stand a chance with it.
we don't stand, man. When he made that crap hole comment about our other Aboriginal people all over the world, they don't care, and this man is controlling the White House. So it's imperative that we start here on the local level. Drop your egos about who's in charge, what have you. Get in touch with us. This meeting is going to happen. We're going to come together. And right now, I notice a lot of the candidates running for mayor are trying to identify some of our leaders, that have something to lose. I don't have anything to lose. And the people that I like associating with, are real people that don't have anything to lose. And so now we're going to reach out to the community and we're going to say, if you don't provide us with these demands, if you don't respond to our demands, we're not going to vote for you. And that's power.
That is.
That's power. So you were going to say a little something about affordable housing.
He can after a break, I guess. I don't know. You got to watch those cue cards, Andre. Tighten up. This is the show with Andre and Marlene. We're talking to Todd Cole here. He's going to be running for City Council?
City Council, District 5.
District 5, that's exciting. When we come back, we'll talk some more about that.
You need medical or a lawyer. I got the man to do the legwork for ya. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay, call Ricky, he coming. He taking kids, state of Florida, grab a pen of sundown. 184-361 Rick. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361 Rick. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361 Rick. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky.
Hey, this is Miss K with K's Kitchen, cooking Chicago-style fried chicken and fish with the authentic Chicago-style mild sauce. Come check us out at 5508 North 50th Street in Tampa. We're open Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 6, or you can call us at 813-368-5196. Again, that number is 813-368-5196. See you soon.
This is the show with Andre and Marlene, and there are a couple of things that we needed to pick back up on, Mr. Cole, if you would go ahead.
Okay. I guess I want to mention last night with the Hillsborough County Democratic Black Caucus, they hosted a listening tour last night, which gave every candidate that's running for any city election, the mayoral election or any one of the city council positions, an opportunity to come in front of the Black Caucus. And we had 7 minutes to speak, to give a little background about yourself and give them some insight as to what you would do within whatever respective position that you're running for the community. So that was a great opportunity. It was great to be able to come out and just speak. And the process is you just speak. They don't ask any questions. And it sort of prepares them to to prepare for the forum that'll happen the following week, next weekend. And to be able to ask you specific questions based on what you may have said last night.
Right.
So,
and since we're talking about the race, I don't mean to interrupt, but we're
okay.
we're running out of time.
Okay.
And you're here, and I haven't heard you really give any personal information at all. Where can someone go to find out more about you and what your platform is? That wasn't really the purpose of today's show. You're
Right.
more than welcome to come back to talk about yourself some more. I would love to have you back.
Right.
But today, people want to know who Todd Cole is.
Right.
Where can they go?
You can actually go to, I don't have a website up, but you can go to my Facebook page. I have Todd Cole for District 5, and you can go there and check it out, or you can call me or email me at tcole, T-C-O-L-E, first initial, last name, T-C-O-L-E, for F-O-R, District 5. So T Cole for District 5. You can email me directly, and I could get information to you. I will have more information coming out as far as handouts and that kind of thing.
And you know what? In Touch News is always so kind to post our streams live on theirs as part of their media. Okay. If you would, just go to the Straight Talk Productions page and to In Touch as well and put that information there. That will give people to say, hey, I was on the show this morning and here's my information if you have any questions for me.
Okay.
Because, we didn't really do the call-in number and no one could call, and that wasn't, why we're actually here at this moment. But
no problem.
I actually would like to hear why you're running and what you think needs to change in Tampa.
Okay. And I've shared some of that this morning as well already, but I'll give you a little more background on me as well.
Yes. That'd be great. Okay. Sorry about that. You just how you do that thing and then he didn't get a talk. So,
well, and I posted the number on my Facebook page to call in for.
But
people
you don't have any Facebook friends, so there's that other part of it.
I got close to 200 people, man.
Are they looking at your page?
Yes.
Okay.
They responded.
Okay.
Almost 200. I've only been on a week.
Okay, but that's in a week. But they got to see it right now while we're on.
Let her talk
in
to
order
us.
For them to call. There's a way these things work. It's okay. One day at a time. And by the time Facebook turns into Minority Report Digital touchscreen, you'll be getting this one right. It's okay.
Go ahead, Todd. Give us your spiel before so we can wrap this up.
Oh, okay. Well, I was born in Tampa, raised in West Tampa and over in East Tampa. On 34th and MLK, as I mentioned earlier. So some of the things I like to focus on related to the race is, one, I want to be an advocate for those whose voice may not be heard or listened to, as well as I want to deeply study the issues. I'm a person that does my homework. I don't just jump out and get involved in things before I clearly understand the pros and cons of them. That will allow me to be a much better representative of the community. Also, I'd like to have a strong partnership with the other council members if I'm fortunate enough to become the council member for District 5. And I'd like to work to preserve our neighborhoods and provide more affordable housing. We discussed some of that stuff today. I'd like to work with the school system to effectively address our poor performing schools in our communities, which is a huge issue for our future. I'd like to work to initiate economic growth to help small businesses, thereby creating more jobs within the community. Also, I'd like to work with heart to effectively address our transportation needs within our community to allow our people who ride the bus lines to and from work to be able to get there in an efficient manner, and so it won't affect their jobs.
I'm so sad we don't have a 2-hour show, because I think sometimes the reason why people don't vote on the local levels, they don't exactly understand what a city council person does, what a mayor does, what the county commissioner does, and how they're interrelated. And there's an exchange of power across them to get things done, and how the constituents actually determine what direction their representative goes in.
Right.
So,
let me mention my last point related to that. One of the things I want to do is to work to be an effective public servant. Okay, meaning I want to reach out to individuals and the community to get constant feedback and input. There's no reason why a city council person doesn't have a town hall meeting or 2 or 3 a year.
That is strange.
Where you come out, go into the community, maybe like at Reagan Park, maybe go down to Palmetto Beach to talk to those residents, maybe go over to Grant Park and talk to those residents, Sulphur Springs. So you go out and you sit and you hear directly from them, as opposed to not being accessible. And that's what I've seen in the past. But I think a city council person should.
How can you help people if you don't know what their problems are? And they may be calling every day saying that there's too many raccoons in our neighborhood, or the lights are out all the time, and they don't know, and they're calling the light people, but they might not know that it needs a little bit of push from their city council person. Why aren't they on the route for their lights being serviced?
And not just that, though. Being accessible creates interest in local government.
And holding people accountable, and that you will be held accountable.
Exactly. And I have no problem going out. I'm the type of person that's say what I mean and mean what I say. I'm not going to make a promise I can't keep. If it's something I can't do, I have no problem telling you, you know what, I can't handle that. That's not something in my realm of responsibility, but I can take that information back, and when I come across that, I can deal with it at that time. But I have no problem telling people I can't do it if I can't do it.
Sounds like an Aries.
Actually, I'm a Cancer, but
Oh, I mean, all of us can't be Aries. That's almost a
Help
good
us.
one.
but I can be a good Cancer.
Help us, Lord. Thank God we ain't all Aries. But another issue here, Todd, and one of the things that I listed on, we have a few minutes left, on my Facebook page of topics of discussion. I got 2 minutes. I got some inside intel on some of the local news media, ABC, NBC, those media outlets. They hire our journalists, to work for them, but they suppress or contain or control the different types of stories and topics that they can talk about, or their creative juices. And so, Daryl is sitting here, our producer, and Todd, you're sitting here. We don't have right now in terms of the airways. Now, this is beautiful what Daryl is doing, but what I want a couple of $1 million
to be controlled by the FCC.
Well, no. See, the FCC, they work for us. All right?
Okay, but that's whatever you call it, it's a misperception.
Do you watch
Because
television?
But when you're in the system of white supremacy, they work for their best interest. And us being on the airwaves talking about dissidence and revolution and change, that does not in their best interest, is not going to work. Now, Daryl has a platform right here. He's got reach. You want things in our news that's already reaching our neighborhood? Put it in his paper. Advertise in his paper. This is something that's already accessible. We need to support these platforms right here. He's on the internet, not as easily FCC controllable. There's internet restriction laws, but he's available. We can catch
And you can speak to your issues how you want to speak to them.
uncensored, and he can go on a private dark line and put it out without interference. If we got to go to the dark web, that's what we can do to get it out. See, pirate radio.
So I'm saying, why don't our community invest a few $1 million into Daryl's operation?
Well, you were saying radio station, airwaves.
No, airways, television, radio. The Hispanic cultures, they have 5 and 6 TV stations.
That's true, but
5 and 6 radio
I
stations.
mean, I can pull it up. You said radio's FCC, and getting a radio station. So that's subjecting ourselves to the controls, and we don't need to be talking about black people's family business on the white airwaves.
Well, but we are working on getting one of those journalists in here on the show. We've reached out to them. I am aware of a situation when we were broadcasting when the elections were happening.
It's 9:58 though.
Yeah. So we're going to work on that. I'm going to talk more about it on the Facebook page.
But we just got to get you to stop talking though.
And hopefully, and if you do that, then the world will come to you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Todd.
This is the show with Andre and Marlene. And
Thanks for that nice round of applause.
We're going to take our butts out of these seats so the next show can start.
Come back next week. You don't want to miss us.